What's up, guys? This is Elo Speaks, and I'm here to talk about sports debate wars, Volume 2. So, in this one, I'm going to title it Terrell Owens and Stephen A. Smith Go At It. So, I already know the back and forth between Stephen A. Smith and Terrell Owens. This beef has spawned all the way back a couple of years ago when they had that altercation on First Take over the Colin Kaepernick situation and how that went down. I'm pretty sure everybody is familiar with that. I just wanted to go down bullet point by bullet point on my thoughts about the situations and give my overall thoughts about it. So my first bullet point was that the recent feud between Stephen A. Smith and Terrell Owens has started back on Twitter. Terrell Owens had liked the tweet of Stephen A. Smith getting criticized about, all the stuff that he's been doing, and Stephen A. Smith took offense to that, and he responded back trying to go at Terrell Owens and threatening to expose certain things about him, etc. Now, again, I want to reiterate, the history between the two started way back regarding the comments that Terrell Owens made on Max Kellerman being quote-unquote blacker than Stephen A. Smith. And at that time when those comments came out, I disagreed with Terrell Owens. I felt like that was an unnecessary comment to make, and it didn't make anyone in this situation look good. It didn't make Terrell Owens look good in the situation. It didn't make Max Kellerman look good in the situation. And it definitely didn't make Stephen A. Smith look good in the situation. It was just an overall uncomfortable situation for anyone involved. And I understand that, they were just giving off their points and stuff like that, but it just felt wrong and just not necessary. Now, when it comes to the whole Colin Kaepernick situation, yes, we all know that Stephen A. Smith is a heavy critic of Colin Kaepernick and the whole situation with him in the NFL, with him trying to get back into the league, being blackballed, and etc. But there were certain things that Colin Kaepernick did to kind of disrupt them from getting back to the league. And that's going to be in a whole other video from that point on. But just to, focus on this particular topic right now, when it came to Terrell Owens and Stephen A. Smith, yes, they've been going back at it, back and forth. And I'm pretty sure that there's no love lost between the two. Now, again, a couple of weeks ago, they had their back and forth on Twitter with the post that T.O. liked it, and again, Stephen A. Smith responded. He responded back on Twitter. He was being very petty, unnecessary, and disrespectful, and that's how Stephen A. Smith is. He's a very disrespectful person. And on TV, he's a, tap dancing clown that, that's made to entertain the masses, but behind the scenes, I've heard people say he's a real a-hole from multiple people, and I could understand and see why. He's a very disrespectful dude. He pretentious. He thinks highly of himself. Stephen A. Smith thinks he's an athlete or on par with the athlete because he's making $8 million or more from whatever endorsements that he's doing. He really thinks he's an athlete. So when it comes to that, my next point, Stephen A. Smith threatens to expose T.O. for all the dirt that he so-called has on him, and says that he will do it on his podcast, No Mercy. Now, for everybody that tuned in for his podcast, No Mercy, on Monday, he ain't exposed nothing. He was just doing a lot of talking, doing a lot of woofing, saying that he has documentations or letters, etc. of all this, and he did not do nothing. So all that was just loud emptiness talk from Stephen A. Smith. Then T.O. called him out on it, and Stephen A. Smith ended up selling wolf tickets when it came to exposing him to the quote-unquote dirt that he has on him. And supposedly he opted to not release any information. So my thing is, what was the point of even saying that if you wasn't going to release anything? Is it because you didn't want to get sued for defamation of character? Are you are you? It's because you weren't sure if the if information was accurate or not, and again, you don't want to be sued because this happened before. I think a month or two ago, he came out with a story as Lonzo Ball having a bad knee injury and not able to sit down on the knee, and then Lonzo Ball comes out on IG clowning Stephen A. Smith, showing him that his knee is doing fine. He could sit down, he could stand up, he could do it, and he made Stephen A. Smith look like a whole absolute clown. And then on top of that, Stephen A. Smith went on his podcast in First Take and started telling him to shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I got sources, blah blah, all this nonsense, and he just made himself look like more of a fool than he already looked. So again, where are these sources coming from, and where did you get this information? So after Stephen A. Smith started selling wolf tickets to everyone about Terrell Owens, saying he has dirt that exposed him and he didn't do nothing about it, T.O. fired back and said, release the information between the two, giving him no information and moving on back and forth, saying that he will not allow him to try and disrespect him like that. So again, Terrell Owens got sick and tired of the disrespect from people like Stephen A. Smith. And granted, Terrell Owens been getting disrespected from the sports media for a long, long time. Some of it is granted because Terrell Owens has been a difficult player throughout his career, spanning back all the way from San Francisco. So it's not like they're just targeting him for no reason. This is partly his to blame. But when it comes to this situation with Stephen A. Smith, yes, I agree. Stephen A. Smith is a disrespectful man. He constantly goes at athletes that he doesn't like or doesn't get any favors from, and he constantly attacked them. You can see it from the Kyrie situation, the Kawhi Leonard situation, and more, where he constantly attacks athletes that he don't like. And then if a particular athlete or so-called black athlete goes and does something bad in the media, like domestic violence or SA for some reason, he's like an attack dog, and he just go after it because he don't want to get in trouble, and he has to toe the line at ESPN. Now he's a little bit more freer and open-minded with his opinions on his podcast, No Mercy. But again, he's only so much he could say without getting in trouble. So yeah, T.O. responded back, and he clowned Stephen A. Smith because no information was got out, and he said he's not going to let a person like Stephen A. Smith continue to threaten him or disrespect him like he was an athlete himself. So, my overall thoughts on the situation is Stephen A. Smith a clown? He's losing this debate war between Terrell Owens because he's looked like he's just talking, saying nothing. When it comes to the overall two, they have their both right and wrongs, but overall Stephen A. Smith needs to chill out because there's no reason for him to even be going this hard at Terrell Owens. You're still mad about the situation with him and Max Kellerman because you and Max Kellerman have beef for whatever reason that we probably will never find out, or we'll probably find out later on in the future. But you're still mad about that situation, and you're trying to go at Terrell Owens. And it's kind of crazy. Like, Stephen A. Smith been going back and forth with a lot of people, athletes or media members at all. He's been going back and forth. Kyrie, Kawhi Leonard, Max Kellerman, Marcellus Wiley, Jason Whitlock, etc., and low-key Skip Bayless. So I just find it crazy how one man is having issues with all these people back and forth. So we look at it as they can't all be the problem. You have to be the problem. So that's just crazy to me to think about. Like, what are you doing getting the issues with all these people? But those are videos for another day. Let me know your thoughts on this particular sports debate war between Stephen A. Smith and Terrell Owens. Give me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Speaks out. Peace.